Hello and welcome to Ask Amanda Now. This is our Friday afternoon live session. We're heading out to the Your Strata Property Facebook page. We're going out to my LinkedIn profile. We're also heading out to YouTube. How are you all doing on this Friday afternoon? This is the session that happens about once every couple of weeks where I put the call out to you all for any strata questions. What is your one strata question that is burning away that you would appreciate being answered by a strata lawyer here on our Friday live chat? I put the call out on the page. We put it out on email. I always get lots of questions in reply, and I pick one. I pick one question to answer. I am looking for the kind of question that I think the answer to which will help the most number of people living in, owning our strata and community title properties, wherever you are in Australia. Generally, a short question that I can get a grip on without reading too much. Lots of you send me attachments and files and pictures and lots of description. Interesting, but generally not quite suitable for our Ask Amanda Now session. Lots of you send me really great one-line, two-line questions that are very, very helpful to be drawing my attention to. And I wish I could answer all of them on our live sessions. Unfortunately, can't get to all of them, but we have picked one to answer today. Lots of you coming in live. It is ahead of a long weekend, I think, for most of us. So maybe kicking it off early. Let me know what you are up to on this Friday afternoon. Look at that. Took the words out of his mouth. Daryl's here saying, long weekend, huzzah. Yeah, well, it's 4 o'clock. Are you packing up now, Daryl? I know you. I'd be surprised if you were packing up at 4 o'clock on a Friday. Good to see you. Ronnie's here saying, happy Friday, everyone. Hey, Ronnie. Welcome, welcome. Happy Friday to you. Kristen is here. Celebrate. Yeah, it's Friday. It's a long. I kept forgetting Monday was off. I was talking to clients going, oh, yeah, I'll give that to you on Monday. Telling Michelle in the office, book a meeting on Monday. Amanda, do you realize it's a public holiday? Yes, it is. The King's birthday. I was saying to my family over dinner, the King's birthday. We haven't had to say that in quite some time, have we? But the next generation, no doubt, will be getting used to it. It'll be the King's birthday weekend for a while now. Hey there, tech board advisor. Happy long weekend to you too. Good to have you here tuning in through Facebook. Carol Ann is here saying hello. Hey, Carol Ann, how you going? It is our Ask Amanda Now session. One strata question to be answered for you here today. We have fun, don't we, on a Friday? There's often a few laughs happening here live on a Friday. I have recently had cause to go back and review some video content you might have noticed here on Facebook, over on our Instagram page, even over on TikTok. If you want to go and find the profile on TikTok, it's over there. We've been posting a few more short videos, some short strata tips. The team has been working hard behind the scenes to put those together. And part of that exercise has involved me looking at some videos, some old, some not so old, recordings of our Friday live chats, recordings of some podcast episodes, some Ask Amanda Now sessions. And I stumbled across a short snippet from one of our Friday sessions where Anna was saying, Amanda, every time I tune in to you, I have to laugh. I laugh because I always hear what it is that my owner's corporation is not doing or is doing wrong. And I laugh about it. And I had said to Anna, well, I think that's good that you're laughing because the other option there is to cry. And we don't want to be doing that. We want to be wherever we can, having a positive outlook on the challenges that we may face in strata. If you head down the page, you'll see a little snippet from that video here inviting you to come and have a laugh. Come and have a laugh with us on Friday live if you can. I was having a chat to one of our members inside our online membership community. He had taken up the opportunity to book a member call with me where we spend 1 hour one-on-one together online, diving deep into a particular strata issue. And I know he won't mind me saying, he said, Amanda, somehow you're able to take a rather dry boring, sometimes painful topic experience that is strata living and make it fun and sometimes funny. And that's why we enjoy tuning in. So that's been a couple of times in the last couple of weeks. I've been told that this is fun. We're laughing. We're enjoying ourselves. So thank you. Thank you for expressing that and letting me know. It's when I hear things like that that I know I'm on the right track. We're in the right place and delivering helpful and enjoyable information for all of you. So thanks for being here and letting me know how you feel about it. Petra's here saying good afternoon. Kareem, hey Kareem, nice to see you. So true. You make it so fun. Thank you very much for that. All right. Now we are going to get to our one strata question for today. A few of you there rubbing your hands together. Will it be my question this week? Maybe. Maybe it will. It will definitely be a strata question. But first, I want to share with you that in my own community lately, where I own a strata apartment and I also sit on the strata committee, I am the secretary on my strata committee. We have had some tough decisions to make. We've had some big decisions to make. We've had, I suppose I can say, some expensive decisions to be making. And in the course of that experience, as I work with my fellow committee members, as I fulfill my functions as secretary, as I communicate to our many owners about the decisions that are being made, I am putting to use some strategies that I have encouraged clients to use over the years, that I have been learning through direct experience, strategies that are working. They're working for me as a committee member. I feel, and I'm being told by other owners, that they're working for them. And I wanted to take the opportunity to share these strategies with you. And the strategies relate to how we communicate with owners about hard decisions, expensive decisions, how we engage other committee members in discussions, how we facilitate smooth and effective committee meetings when we've got some hard topics to discuss. How do we ensure transparency? How do we ensure fairness? And to this end, in my wish to bring these strategies to you and to share with you my direct experience, the things that I'm learning and I think that will be helpful for you to have access to as well, I am delivering a webinar. There is a pro member webinar happening on Thursday, the 22nd of June. We will kick off at midday. The webinar is all about, you might have guessed it, effective strata committee meetings, how to ensure transparent and fair strata committee decisions without conflict or confrontation, even if your committee is inconsistent or unresponsive. These are words that I hear from owners. I hear them from managers as well. Inconsistent, unresponsive, lack of transparency, not fair. There's too much conflict. I don't like confrontation. It's time to go deep on these issues. So Thursday, the 22nd of June, a pro member webinar. I'm going to tell you what that means when I say those words in just a moment. Those who attend the webinar will, I promise, develop some skills to facilitate better discussions during committee meetings, to reduce misunderstandings, to ensure fairer decision making. And these are not skills that are coming at you from someone who doesn't know how it works. I have been sitting on my committee for a number of years now. I've been closely involved with other committees in my position as a strata lawyer, and I know what it is to make hard decisions, to deal with owners who perhaps don't agree with those hard decisions that need to be made. Those who are attending this webinar will learn techniques for drafting effective agendas and minutes that promote transparency and accountability. You'll be armed with strategies to build stronger and more cooperative relationships with your fellow committee members and between owners and the committee, reducing the likelihood of expensive legal disputes and creating more harmonious communities. Now, the level of education that I deliver at a pro webinar is more in-depth than previous webinars you might have attended. I give lots of practical how-to information. Sometimes we have a guest expert. I definitely bring you real-life examples from what I'm doing in my own community, insights into my own legal practice, some challenges that my clients might be facing. Our property professionals can claim CPD points for attending our pro webinars, and our replays get banked to our CPD library. So for that reason, our pro webinars are only free for our pro members. And I know we have lots of pro members who tune in on a Friday. You will know who you are. But I am able to offer a significant discount on the ticket price for all of the members of our online community. So if you are a pro and you want to secure your free spot on this Effective Strata Committee Meetings webinar for Thursday, the 22nd of June, there is a link that is going into the comments here on Facebook for you to access. Just make sure you are logged in to our membership platform when you access that link so that you'll be able to get access to your free spot. If you are a member, so you're not a pro member, but you are definitely a member inside our online community, there is a link for you to get 60% off the ticket price, your discounted member ticket. Tickets are $97 for our members. The link for our members is going into the comments here on Facebook. Again, just make sure that you're logged in so that you can get that 60% off the full price ticket. The full price ticket is $227. But here's the thing. If you're not a member, you're not a pro member, you're not otherwise a member, don't buy a full price ticket. Become a member for just $67, and then you can get your ticket at 60% off at the member price. Just a sec. And you'll get access to everything else that is on offer inside our membership community. So you'll get access to that webinar at the discounted member price, and you'll also get all the membership benefits. You'll get our Q&A forum, your unlimited access to our entire knowledge library. You'll get access to our library of Strata templates, including our template bylaws. That alone is valued at $4,000. So lots of value in there for you. What else? What else is inside our membership? The recordings of all past webinars and your opportunity to book your one-on-one, 1-hour chat with me where we can work through your specific Strata challenge. So don't buy a full price ticket. You can get your ticket to the webinar and your month-to-month membership for just $164. So it's less than the $227. So this is the no-brainer for you, $164 at the link that is popping up in the chat. That's going to take you straight over to your page where you can secure your month-to-month membership and your webinar ticket. I would love to see you online with me on the 22nd of June, learning all about effective Strata committee meetings. All those links there are for you in the chat. I'm still recovering. Thought I had recovered. Recovering from a bit of a cold where my throat, if I speak for about more than 10 minutes, which is around about now, tends to disappear on me. So bear with me, guys, as we continue to warm up here into our one Strata question for today. You don't even know what it is, and you're all coming on in, ready to hear it and ready to hear the answer. I'm heading over to those comments there. Billen Ben saying most people find clowns funny. Clowns and Strata. There you go. That's the category that we're in here. I'll bring my cup of tea with me next time. That's what I've been doing the last week. Needed it again today. Awesome. All those links there for you to join us on the Pro webinar. We're ready. We are warmed up and we are ready for our one Strata question today. The person who asked this question is here. Our question today, as it comes up onto your screen, is from, drum roll, bring it on up, team, Billen Ben. Great question that I think is helpful for many managers, many owners who are tuning in. It's about large strata schemes. Large strata schemes. Does a large strata scheme in New South Wales have to put 2 quotes on the agenda to approve expenditure that is over $30,000? Great question. This is one that I've had before. definitely. And I'm going to those of you who are not quite sure where this is coming from, what's a large strata scheme, what 2 quotes, where does 30,000, I'm gonna walk you through that. I have a view on this question, and I'm gonna share it with you. So, let's start here. Our New South Wales legislation, when I hit the right tab, is going to come up in front of you. Section 102 is the section that puts a limit on spending by our large strata schemes. What's a large strata scheme? More than 100 lots. I understand our strata managers have a cute term in some strata management companies. They call them 101s. I've heard that expression before. It's a 101, which essentially means it is a large strata scheme. Section 102 is on your screen here. It tells us that an owner's corporation for a large strata scheme must obtain at least 2 quotations in relation to proposed expenditure in respect of any one item or matter if the proposed expenditure will exceed the amount prescribed by the regulations. What is the amount prescribed by the regulations? Regulation 25 in our Strata Schemes Management Regulation says that the prescribed amount is currently $30,000. This is where Billen Ben is getting his $30,000 from. We've got links for you both to Section 102 and to Regulation 25. Head over and check them out. But this is where Billen Ben's question is coming from. If an owner's corporation for a large scheme must obtain at least 2 quotes, if one item is going to cost more than $30,000, what does it then do with those 2 quotes? Does it have to put them on the agenda of a general meeting for the owners to vote on and choose which one they approve? If it is, for example, the engagement of a strata manager, we know that a strata manager's appointment has to be approved at a general meeting. That's in our law. For a large building, a 101, 100, more than 100 lots, it is very likely that the strata manager's fees for the year are going to be more than $30,000 over the prescribed amount. A strata committee might be getting 2 quotes for new management. They might be getting 3, they might be getting 4. But then they may only be putting 1 quote on the agenda, their preferred or their proposed strata manager. And if they're doing that, are they complying with Section 102? Now, my view on this may be controversial, but it is that the 2 quotes do not need to go on the agenda. And in forming that view, I look at the words of Section 102. It tells us that an owner's corporation for a large strata scheme must obtain at least 2 quotes. An owner's corporation acts through its strata committee, and it is the strata committee who is going to be doing the job, the legwork of getting these 2 quotes. Once they've done that, in my view, they have complied with Section 102. They have obtained those 2 quotes, and it's not necessary for both of those quotes to be on the agenda. If it was, I say, our legislation would have said so. Now, I know I can hear Billen Ben in my ear saying, well, Amanda, what's the point? What's the point then of this section and this requirement if the 2 quotes don't have to go before the owners for approval? Does this section then mean nothing? Does it have no work to do? And I think the section is still effective. I think it still does some important work if I interpret it, if my interpretation is correct and those 2 quotes don't go on the agenda. The Strata Committee has still had to obtain these 2 quotes and had to have a think about them, had to have a think about which it preferred, which it thinks is going to be in the best interest of owners, and make a decision as to which it will place on the agenda of the general meeting. And that's really the job of our elected strata committee, or part of the job of our elected strata committee is that they are there for a reason. Owners have put their faith, their trust in them, and they are able to make that decision. If our legislature didn't want them to be making that decision, then I believe it would be made clear in the legislation that they would need to put both quotes on the agenda. If we read further down section 102, you'll see that there are some other restrictions about spending on particular items or matters, no more than 10% greater than the budgeted amount in terms of expenditure. Skipping to subsection 4, bear in mind that this doesn't apply to emergency expenditure, and there are emergency situations there listed in subsection 4. I'm going to stop sharing this because I can see some interesting comments coming on through. Before I do that, I just want to address this. There is also a view that this doesn't apply to legal fees. And I think that's probably right, because we do have a specific section. I think it's section 103, the one that follows section 102. Fancy that. That deals with legal fees in particular and says that we do have to approve legal fees that are going to be more than 15,000. It's 15,000, isn't it, in New South Wales? I've had my head in the ACT, and in the ACT it's 10,000. 15,000 in legal expenses, more than 15,000 in legal expenses needs to be approved at a general meeting, and that comes later in the legislation. So I have read a view of another lawyer that this also doesn't apply to legal fees and doesn't apply to expenses for emergency purposes. I think that's probably right. I'm going to stop sharing that and head over to those comments. Still trying to overcome my coughing fit. Sorry, guys, if I'm a little bit stilted here for you. Megan Chatterton is saying, good question. Billen Ben, I agree. Good question. Andrew Tunks is saying, couldn't agree more. Excellent. Thank you, Andrew. I know Andrew is the very experienced Strata manager leading the team there at Net Strata. So interesting that you take the same view there, Andrew. Billen Ben, as I expected, says, well, that reduces section 102 to a box ticking exercise. Yeah, well, for some strata committees, that might be how they feel, that they know who they want, for example, when it comes to strata management, and they know that they need to get these 2 quotes to tick the box of section 102. For other strata committees, they may well be engaging in that legitimate exercise of getting the 2 quotes, comparing the 2 quotes or more. 3, 4 quotes for whatever the expenditure may be. It could be for improvements or upgrades to the common property that needs to go before a general meeting to be approved, and then choosing what they believe is the best quote in the best interests of all owners and putting that one forward at a general meeting. I think it's important for owners as a whole to be aware of this requirement. And this is why I think it's such a great question to chat about here on live, because as we were told by Anna, she watches Friday Live, she laughs because there are so many things she learns that her building is just not doing and legally must do. So if owners in large schemes, more than 100 lots, are aware that this is a legal requirement, then they can be checking in with their strata committees, with their strata manager before a general meeting where they are aware that there's a big quote that's going to be approved, and making sure that that second quote has been obtained, and asking to see a copy of it. Asking to see a copy of that quote so that they may be able to make an informed decision at the general meeting as to whether or not what's being proposed, what's being promoted, supported by their strata committee, encouraged by their strata committee, is in line and appropriate. Billen Ben is saying, as much as I do not like it, the words are the words. Yeah. Good principle for lawyering here, Billen Ben. The words are the words. I did try no cases on the point. I did have a scroll through the second reading speech for the Strata Schemes Management Bill 2015. No mention of this, and I'm pretty sure this came in with our 2015 Act. It hasn't been an addition since. Someone will tell me if I'm wrong. No mention of it, of this new provision, which I understand is a new provision. I could be wrong, actually. Someone like Andrew Tunks might tell me whether we had this in the 96 Act. I don't think so. So we are not able to look behind. If we try to look behind the words, there's not much there to help us. So I will certainly be letting you know, especially you, Bill and Ben, if this does come up in a contested scenario, and whether my view is confirmed or not. Colin saying this is a matter of trust. No trust option B, trust option A. Yeah. So this is where, and Colin, I know you lead a really cooperative, trusting and trustworthy community because of a lot of the hard work that you've done and your fellow committee members over the years. But this is where this idea of our strata committee are our elected representatives. They are there making decisions in the best interests of the owners, and they are trusted to do so. So that's all I'll say about that. In some communities, that's not the case, and I have to acknowledge, being at the coalface of resolving conflicts in communities, that is a fact, that in some communities that's not the case. Andrew is saying, sorry guys, strata managers who are compiling motions could include an explanatory note explaining what other quotes were obtained, so that owners reading the agenda can understand the process that the committee has followed. Love it. Yep, really great idea. Thank you, Andrew. Billen Ben is saying the word quotes does not appear in the 1996 Act. Yeah, quotations, and that word is definitely there in section 102. Great, I told you Andrew would know. 96 Act did have the no more than 10% above the budget line item rule. Yeah. Let's go back and look at that, because that's an interesting one. I'll just share my screen again, at risk of just opening Pandora's box here, while my voice is not quite on track, but we'll see how far we can go. Let's look at section 102, subsection 2. An owner's corporation for a large strata scheme must not spend on an item or matter an amount greater than the amount specified for the item or matter plus 10% in estimates provided for that item. What the heck does that mean? God, that is lawyer speak. That means you have a budget, and you have a line item budget. You might say we allocate $20,000 to plumbing, we allocate $30,000 to our strata management services, we allocate $10,000 to legal fees. Those are your items or matters. And for a large strata scheme, we actually have a restriction. We can't go over the budgeted amount. We can't spend over the budgeted amount plus 10%. So if it's 30,000, it's 33,000, 20,000, 22,000. And if we go over that amount, we're actually breaching the Act. Not the case for small schemes, not the case in 100 lots or less buildings, but 101s and more. That law is there. It surprises some people to realize that their strata committee can, in smaller buildings, overspend the budget. They don't have this restriction for smaller buildings, but it's there for larger buildings. But have a look at subsection 3. The owner's corporation may, by resolution, remove the limitation imposed by subsection 2, generally or in relation to any particular item or matter. So you can say, well, for legal fees, we're going to remove this restriction because we might have to spend more. Or we can say for the entire budget, we're going to remove this restriction for all items in the budget because we don't want to have to worry about going more than 10% over. So you can remove it, but you have to pass a resolution at a general meeting. Now, what I see happening as kind of a matter of habit, maybe a cultural norm that's happening in our general meetings for our large schemes, is I often see motions to remove the restriction on each item and instead impose a new restriction. And the new restriction being imposed is that we can't overspend on the budget by more than 10% in total. More than 10% in total. So if our budget for the admin fund is 300 grand and it's got lots of different line items specified in there, I do see large strata schemes saying that they're going to remove the restriction on each line item, but they're going to propose a new restriction. And that new restriction is that they won't spend more than 10% over the total budget. So they won't spend more than $330,000 if the admin fund budget is $300,000. I see that happen regularly. Some strata managers here might tell me whether they're doing that with their buildings and how common it is. I'm not sure that's allowed. Unless I'm misreading something or not seeing something here in section 102, I'm not sure that's what subsection 3 says. We can remove the restriction imposed by subsection 2 generally or in relation to any particular item. But removing the restriction and then imposing a new restriction over the entire budget, I'm not sure that that's something that is being done in accordance with Section 102. And it's often said that that's what's happening, that it's being done in accordance with Section 102. So I thought I'd throw that little spanner in the works. Billen Ben will soon tell me if he's seen that happen and what his thoughts on that are. Andrew is telling me that this no more than 10% restriction was in the 1996 Act. So it may be a carryover of a habit that would happen under our 1996 Act. But I find that one interesting. And a strata manager may tell me why they think that, or a strata lawyer, indeed, tell me why they think that is legal and possible to be doing that, imposing that 10% restriction over the whole budget for a large strata scheme. All right, so clear as mud there for everybody. Kristen is saying perhaps the information about the second or non-presented quote could be placed in the explanatory note for the motion. Yes, so Kristen, that was Andrew's comment above, which you may not have seen, or if you've just ducked out and come back in, that was Andrew's comment, and I do agree that, I think that was Andrew's comment. Tell me if it was different. I do agree that that is a good idea. Billen Ben saying 80B in the 96 Act, 2 quotes in relation to proposed expenditure in respect of any one item if the proposed. So it was there. Is that what you're telling me, Billen Ben? It was there in the 96 Act? Was there always been there? Any cases? Any cases on that? Is that in exactly the same terms? Looks like it might have been. Colin saying, just put out our AGM agenda. It's 121 pages. How do we keep perspective over that is my question for busy owners. Yes. Well, Colin, I'd be surprised if your community wasn't doing this, but mine certainly does, or has since I've been in my position as secretary. A secretary's report, or some people call it a chairperson report or a committee report at the beginning of every AGM agenda, an annual report even, highlighting the top issues. The top issues that are on the agenda for determination usually includes the budget. People want to know, why are our levies going up? Are our levies going up? How much money have we saved this year? What's happening with the replacement of the lift that's due in 2024? Where are we at with that? What legal proceedings might be happening? Why it is that Lot 30 is proposing a bylaw. So what are the key items to draw attention to? Pop that into a committee report, a secretary report, chairperson report that appears in very, very easy to understand conversational terms, essentially a letter or a newsletter at the front of your agenda. And I find that that helps focus owners where they're dealing with a hefty agenda. Billen Ben, back to section 102, 102.3. We have that motion every year, and I do argue that 102 subsection 3 is not a license to rewrite 102. The agent rejects the argument. Okay, interesting. I think I'm with you, Billen Ben. I can't see that in there, the ability to do that in 102.3, but I do see it happen as well. I'd be interested to know what the history of that practice is, and where that comes from. So much for our short session. Indeed, a great question from Billen Ben about budgets for large schemes, about quotes to approve significant expenditure for our large schemes. Even if you're in a small scheme, I'm sure there's some takeaways there for you just to understand even that you don't need to get more than one quote for certain expenditure. Isn't that interesting? I have owners who write to me saying, "Oh, Amanda, we got the mandatory 3 quotes." And I say, not sure that is mandatory. Are you in a large scheme? If you're in a large scheme and it's over 30,000, yes, mandatory to get 2 quotes, but not in a scheme of 100 lots or less. And even in our larger schemes, my point of view, and I think I've had agreement here today, is that it is not mandatory to be putting those 2 quotes on the agenda for owners to choose from. The Strata Committee can choose one. That's where we're at with today's Ask Amanda Now. That's the answer to your question. My voice has held up so far, which is good. Make sure, if you are a pro member inside our online community, that you are grabbing your free spot on our pro webinar. effective Strata committee meetings. That is happening on Thursday, the 22nd of June. If you are a member, you get your 60% off discounted webinar ticket for the 22nd of June. We have links in the comments here on Facebook. I think they've gone out on YouTube as well. If you're a member or a pro member, you will have a note in your inbox giving you access to those tickets. If you're not a member, don't go and buy the full price ticket at $227. It's a no-brainer. Take up the opportunity to join us on a month-to-month membership and secure your webinar ticket for $164 because that's less than $227. Got it? Yep. Secure your webinar ticket, get your month-to-month membership. There is a special link there for you here in the comments on Facebook. I would love to see you both on the webinar and with us inside the membership, getting all of the goodies that we have to offer there. Billen Ben is saying, great session. That should help owners in large schemes and even smalls. Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. I will catch you here round about this time next Friday. Enjoy your long weekend wherever you are. Happy birthday, King, I guess. And I will catch you all next time. Bye for now.